Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome in. How are you doing today? You are looking very healthy. Your skin is glowing. You're looking moisturized. We are going to be watching a video called After 4 Years, Wuthering Waves Woke Me Up. Genshin Impact sucks, and I'm done. And this is the thumbnail, which I'm going to say I think is great. Let's get into it. If you've ever liked to watch these filmed live, we do that on Twitch at twitch.tv/hex_juice at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time daily. And when you come to Twitch, you get at least 1 extra inch on your PP size and increased Riz. Let's get into it. I'm very interested in what this is going to be about. Subscribe.
So I'm recording this on a whim, just because I honestly feel like it. I've been playing Genshin since launch, so...
Oh, you poor soul. Since launch? Are any of y'all still playing Genshin that played since launch? Put a 1 in chat if you are currently still playing Genshin and have played since launch. Oh my god, that's way more ones that I thought were gonna say that. Holy shit. You are brave, brave souls.
For me, in terms of gaming, this is my main hobby. Like, this is a big step, because it's actually been something... Certainly during the COVID times, there was kind of a relief, something new, refreshing, a lot different from anything I'd ever played, because I never really played a gacha game prior to Genshin.
Did you guys feel that way? Like, when, being able to play Genshin during COVID made COVID less awful for a while? I feel like that was a lot of people's experience. Because, it just, oh God, it just made COVID less shitty for a while. I played League during COVID. Are you all right? Can y'all put the year that y'all started playing Genshin Impact in chat? Like, what year? 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023? What year did you guys start playing Genshin? This is not really for YouTube. I'm just curious. 2020, 23, 21, 24. You started playing this year? That's crazy. So a lot of y'all were since release. Interesting. Okay, I was just curious.
And I've only played one since, which I'll talk about after. First of all, as well, I want to apologize for the mic quality. I know it's not very good. My old microphone broke not that long ago. My mod mic, which was an excellent microphone, had it for many years, but that broke. So apologies in advance. If you want to listen, you're just going to have to tolerate the sound quality, I'm afraid.
Thank you for acknowledging it, because I can't stand when people have poop-ass mics and are just like, yeah, no, this is good. But a little tip for you. If you're a man and you want like a somewhat cheaper plug-and-play mic, HyperX Quadcast is great.
Today, I decided it was time to move on from Genshin and uninstall it.
Damn.
Many reasons for this. It's been kind of a long time coming for me. For a few months, I would say at this point now, to where I'm just drained on the game. I'm drained on the company's stance on pretty much everything and their lack of initiative or desire to change at all. I haven't delved ever too much into the community when it comes to this kind of stuff in terms of criticism, but it's become abundant to me how almost brainwashed the community is. A lot of people in the community just to accept and defend the lack of any change with Genshin Impact or evolution of the game. And it's really sad to see, honestly.
I want to say, I'd like to have an empathetic moment where I say, like, dude has been a strong and brave soldier. I'm still stuck on, been playing since launch in 2024. Like, bro is a very strong soldier, and bro has been holding out hope for such a long time. I think that his exhaustion and sadness is very valid. He sounds tired. He probably feels tired, and I understand that. The community is incredibly brainwashed, and it's very, very frustrating. But as an empathetic moment, I think a lot of us felt that way about Genshin.
So, obviously, Wuthering Waves came out in the past, around 2 weeks now. I've been having an absolute blast on that game, and I don't see it ending anytime soon. I enjoy logging on to get stuff done every day, building these characters. We're going to have a lot of new content coming. The next patch, there's already murmurings and semi-leaky stuff coming out about new characters, and they look incredible. The new area looks awesome from what I've seen as well. I'm just on board with what they're doing completely, and there's just so many changes that you just can't ignore. Like, going back to Genshin after playing Wuthering Waves, I just can't do it. I can't do it. I don't know how you guys are balancing these games. The gameplay in Wuthering Waves is just better in every regard. The traversal being one thing that is painful to play in Genshin after experiencing it in Wuthering Waves. And people say, oh, don't compare these games, you know, it's like apples and oranges. It's not really. Like, Kuro clearly using the skeleton of kind of Genshin and what that game is and saying, how can we make it better? And they
For sure.
so far have succeeded, bar issues we've all seen with bugs and whatnot that people have experienced.
Do you guys feel like, I guess I like polling the audience, because for this kind of thing, I don't play Genshin anymore. I think that if I went back to Genshin after Exploration and Wuthering Waves, it would definitely be difficult, but I haven't played that game in several years. So like, I'm not like an expert on Genshin anymore. Have you gone back to Genshin after playing Wuthering Waves, and how, like, does it feel crappy to play Genshin after Wuthering Waves? It feels fucking awful compared. It feels so slow. Never touched the game since. It does. Uninstalled. It feels like shit. Genshin feels like absolute ass. But yeah, I imagine going back to Genshin would make going back to Genshin after Wuthering Waves would make it feel really sluggish.
I've had my share of things happening. The no music bug in the first week was affecting me, and that sucked.
Yeah.
It started kind of out of nowhere, then they fixed it rather quickly, I have to say. So, but another thing I want to bring to everyone's attention here is kind of another catalyst for me making this video today. Is this post that was put out from someone I decided just to comment on and just lay out my thoughts, and it even further just put things into perspective for me.
Okay.
So I'm going to read some of these off and just talk about them a little bit, because I think it gets to the heart of what's wrong with Genshin and just their lack of willingness to really do anything about the game.
Yeah.
War running and no stamina.
You guys can let me know how much you agree with these. I will let you know from my experience. But again, I don't like to speak too much on the current state of Genshin because I've not played in like 3 years. I stopped playing in Inazuma. So for me, like, I don't like to have like too much thoughts on like how it feels today. I don't necessarily know. Realistically, I don't think it's changed that much. But like, I don't want to have like opinions that I don't have any right to have.
Stamina consumption outside of combat, something Wuthering Waves is doing, the game. War running and no stamina consumption outside of combat, something Wuthering Waves is doing.
Agreed.
Again, the wall run is such a huge thing.
Yes.
It's big. No.
And I feel like it's not that hard to do.
Stamina outside combat is big as well when you just want to explore in peace and without worrying about that nonsense. But wall running, the traversal in the game, it's just night and day. When you've experienced it, like, to me, certainly, it's almost impossible to go back to this style of game.
Especially the sprinting. Holy shit.
And just deal with that. Momentum, continuation when you went gliding, kind of an obvious thing. Well, maybe not so obvious for some people, because to be honest, when I went back to Genshin, I didn't really realize there was no momentum when you stopped gliding. You just drop like a rock when you stop the glides.
Yeah.
But it's something I've noticed so much more now, and it's just horrible. I can't put up with it. Better automatic material collection, just relating to like items the enemies drop for like building characters.
Scroll F. Do you guys remember that? Scrolling up and down really fast and hitting F as fast as you can to try and pick shit up. Oh my god, so fucking annoying. I immediately started doing that in Wuthering Waves as well. That was my immediate instinct, to scroll up and down and press F to try to pick things up as quickly as possible. It was so nice not having to do that.
Characters and whatnot should be something that's in Genshin. I don't see why they've not done that, to be honest. There's no... I don't get enjoyment over pressing... What they did years ago is they actually sped up the collection rate when you press the collect button on the item, but
did they?
Get rid of it. It doesn't add anything to the game. Big one here, an optional skip button.
I agree.
Now, the thing is, I like the story in Genshin. I mean, Genshin's story is the only thing really keeping me attached, or was keeping me attached, but I just can't do it anymore. I can't. I don't even know if I'll come back from that land. I'll probably just watch some stuff and see about the story, because I like the lore, I like the story. Not everyone really cares, which should be respected. And certainly when it comes to like side events, like temporary events and things with NPCs you don't care about and you'll probably never see again anyway, we should have the option to skip. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Next, more purposeful, continual content / stuff to do when you run out of resin. And the example I gave, like echo farming in Wuthering Waves. That's one thing I love about Wuthering Waves, and I'll get onto Wooer's problems, because it does have some, especially even relating to echo farming and things like that. But there's no...
I don't think that that's the best example of like meaningful continual content. Like, I like to do that content, but that's not going to be meaningful content for everybody.
Genshin, like the meme about mint picking and stuff is very much true, because when you get past the events and use your resin, maybe some new story from an update, you've got nothing to do in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
There's just nothing to do unless you're brand new to the game. But I'm talking from my standpoint, there's just nothing to do in the game.
That's true.
I'm sorry, that's just how it is. And yeah, they need to really look at something, and they never will. This is the problem. This is the reason I'm quitting. Like, I'm done with it. They never will. It's been 4 years almost. They don't care because you guys keep paying them. We keep paying them. I've paid them. Not doing it anymore. But regardless, moving on. An overhaul of the elemental reaction system / revision of the physical element. Dendro and Hyperbloom trumps all. And it's true. I'm sorry. Like, you can make other teams, like, say, with Nuvalet, like a mono, well, not even mono Hydro, but, you know, just a Hydro buffing team that doesn't use, like, Dendro and stuff and still really strong. Or Alachino as well. Very strong Pyro Vaporized character. That's fine.
So I want to just have a quick little, like, point here, and then I will address this. What I want to say about these first couple of points is that realistically, the fact is that a lot of these are relatively easily to implement into the game, and they just don't. Especially these first 4. These are incredibly small details to implement into the game, and I just feel like it's probably not that difficult. They just don't. Even though realistically, if you've been around since day 1, you know that people have been asking for a shit ton of this stuff from Genshin Impact from get. From get, people were like, I wish I didn't have to pick up the rocks. I wish I could have more, like, different stamina system. And these are very simple concepts. I don't think these would be that difficult, but they just don't, because they don't have to, because of that, like, brainwashed, I'm always right portion of the community, or like a Hoyo's always right portion of the community. You know what I mean? That's why it's so frustrating for people who do feel sort of frustrated by Hoyoverse, is that, like, a lot of those things would have been relatively easy to implement, and it would have been really nice if they just did that, but they just didn't. And then as far as this reaction system part, I don't think they can do that because of the gacha game situation. Changing characters after they're released in gacha games is very, very tricky. You can only buff them. You cannot make them worse. And for them to try to balance that after the fact would be objectively a nightmare for everyone involved. I mean, great content for me if they wanted to, but I don't think that that is possible. And I do know that this very much still exists with Dendro, but this was a problem before Dendro as well. I mean, vaporized team comps were objectively better than other team comps. Let's not even talk about the entire element of Geo there. I don't think that they can fix this, unfortunately. I think this is something that really we can't do anything with it.
It seems like they're trying to, like, up the strength of certain reactions and teams to, like, match more appropriately with Dendro and Hyperbloom. But we've been there and done that. Like, vaporized teams have been around since day 1. There's no evolution of kind of these systems of the elemental reactions. They've tried like Chevros to make what's the reaction name? I can't even remember right now, to be honest. The explosion one with electric and pyro. They've tried that.
Overcharge. Overload.
And sure, I guess if you want to snipe for a Chevros and try and snipe constellations, good luck with that. It's played out, I feel like. They really should have just revised the whole system at this point. It's just old and stale, and they just don't care to change it, and people are happy with it, I guess.
I think that this is actually an impossible ask. Not because I want Hoyo to keep it the same. I don't like how the elemental reaction system is either. But, like, I don't think this is, unfortunately, something that can be fixed because of the nature of gacha in general. This would be an insane undertaking that I don't think, like, basically any developer would do. If they did, I think it would be very interesting, though, and I would love to see it happen.
It is what it is. I mean, I won't lie, and I'm not going to deny that there's complexity to the systems, but
yeah,
like, some of them, like, certainly physical. It's like, who uses physical at this point? I'm sure some people probably do, but there's so many enemies that resist it or don't care about it, and it just doesn't have the multipliers that other reactions do. It's not worth investing in. It's kind of pointless.
I don't think they can balance the system, Lunar Pillow. You cannot change characters after they are released in a way that makes them weaker. I don't think that you can change this system because it could get them into legal problems. And because of the way the elemental reaction system is, it's so inherent to the game and so inherent to why you would even wish for a character.
This relates to the last point quite a bit as well, but this is very poignant and something that can be heavily argued, I think, as well. They should be making use of the currently pointless normal attacks on many characters, or revise their design approach. Like Emily, this upcoming, who I've seen in leaks. Who's going to use physical normal attacks on her, which she has in her case? Like, why? It's
Yeah, I
pointless.
agree.
And this goes back to Wuthering Waves. Every character imbues their attacks with their elements. So you can kind of build these characters, even support-based characters, you can build for DPS in their respective elements if you really want to. It's really difficult to do that in Genshin. And the main thing, again, I'm pointing out is the wasted animations. I hate that.
Yeah,
It's like
I
you
agree.
have these characters like Chiori with awesome normal attack animations that you never really use. It's like, what's the point? You're not going to. And, you know, many characters who don't imbue their elements into any of their attacks at all. Like, again, Emily, I don't believe from what I've seen has any, can't infuse her attacks with Dendro at all.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of just taking his word for it on this one. I've not played the game in too long, and I don't know who these characters are. Y'all can decide on that, because who fucking Emily? I don't know.
All in normal attacks and stuff. It just seems like a wasted kitten character and wasted animations, and people don't really seem to care.
Oh, is Emily the that ugly secretary one? Yeah. Okay. I don't know what she does.
Another criticism I think is very valid, and they just don't care.
Yeah.
So again, this again related to the above, a wider range of abilities / movesets / combos like blocking. Well, other examples, blocking, parry, and these other additions. And I say
They're not
pinch
gonna
rule
do that.
if you really have to.
No,
That'd be
not gonna do that.
awesome, but again, they don't care. These are just my list of criticisms / grievances and things,
I wish they
quality of
would.
life things they probably should have considered or done by now that won't happen. Beyond that, faster res and regeneration up in the limit is one thing after 3 to 4 years, but still.
I don't think upping the limit was anything. I think it was the illusion of something, because they didn't increase resin regeneration. I think you can condense your resin, right? But there's no like automatic reserve overflow thing like in HSR. So like upping the amount that goes into it, it just like, it doesn't really do anything for you. It doesn't help you all that much because it's the same regeneration rate.
Everyone's asking for this. People have been asking for this for years. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
They increased the limit after like 3+ years of not having increased the limit when everyone was asking.
Yeah.
You know why they did that? Because they've actually got competition now. And they've known about this competition that's impending for months and months. I had this discussion with people before, like, oh, you really think they're doing this now because Boo just came out last week? No, stupid. They've known about this game for months. They know they have impending competition. They probably have these things in their back pocket for situations like this where their competition actually gets some attention. And then say, oh, we'll do it now.
I think this is fair to a certain extent, but I think that if they were really trying to compete and not just placate, because I think that's what that was. I think it was placating. If they were really trying to compete, they would have given better QOL. Adding a bigger resin cap is not really giving you better quality of life in that game. I think most players that are intelligent, which I guess maybe is not as many as you would hope, would understand that that's not actually a real addition of any quality of life, because it's not better resin regeneration. But I think if they were specifically trying to compete or get back players, I think that it would have been better to give like that overflow system where you get like the reserves or something like that to the game at least. But that's just not what they're interested in doing. They're interested in appearing to give quality of life and placating their audience. The reason that they're not going to change that is because they make money from resin refreshes. It sucks. But it is about placating and not actually about competing. It's true.
It pisses me off, honestly. How they only make a move when there's some kind of competition incoming, but not when people are asking their actual fans who are keeping them afloat and making them billions year after year. But what do I know? Allow for an avenue for people to get all the event weapons. So I already have this weapon I'm going to talk about here, but it's a joke that people can't get Albedo's signature weapon to this day.
Yeah! Just get Festering Desire. Why don't you have Festering Desire? Why aren't you using Festering Desire? You should just use Festering Desire. I can't! God, that shit was annoying. That was in like the first like 2 fucking months of the game, bro. Yeah, Festering Desire. Festering Desire is such a good fucking weapon, and you still can't get it. Oh yeah! Dude, that unlocked trauma so bad for me. The fucking Festering Desire. Holy shit, I forgot about that.
Do I need I say more? Like, what the fuck? This is my problem again with people that really defend Hoyo so much in Genshin. They don't give a shit about you. They really don't. That weapon was years ago. You can't even fucking get it in game. Why? They don't.
So that you feel absolutely and 100% duty bound to log in for events, because God forbid you lose out on the new version of Festering Desire and you will regret it until the day that you die. That's why they do that shit, because motherfuckers to this day still be wishing they had that Festering Desire. So they go, well, I'm not gonna miss out on an event that gives a weapon, because what if it's that weapon but in 2024? It's to build that FOMO shit. That's why they do it.
Don't care about you at all, and you're going to defend them regardless. Why? What the fuck? Yeah, see, you probably notice I'm getting a bit more aggravated the longer I spend here thinking about this stuff, because I've just been through it and I've thought about it, and it's like, it just angers me. They don't care. But moving on. Make the teapot items little squares with pictures rather than pointlessly wide rectangles you have to scroll down forever. It's a nightmare on controller. I know a lot of people do not care about the teapot at all.
I hated the teapot. My teapot was an absolute fuck-ass nightmare. The most disgusting thing known to man. I literally just stuck shit in there and cut down trees until I got enough rewards, and then went and talked to the fat fuck in the teapot when I needed to, and that was it. God, I hated that shit.
So this is like a minor thing. And to be honest, even for me, it's not a huge deal. But whenever I wanted to do stuff in the teapot, because I actually like the realm creation and building stuff you think looks cool.
By the way, I understand some people like that kind of stuff. Just for me, the fact that it, like, there was no other reason in the fucking game to cut down trees. And it was like such a fucking annoying ass process to build furniture in that game. And like, I'm a fiend for the rewards, obviously. I need my rewards. I'm a rewards cuck. And like, it was such an annoying thing to be forced to go cut down trees for decorations in this Animal Crossing decoration shit that I did not care about. I stopped playing Animal Crossing when the whole point of the game was to decorate and you kind of finish the game. I stopped playing at that point because I don't care about decorating. I'm not an interior designer. Yeah, I was like busy work. I hated the worksheets of Genshin Impact. I'm good.
Customizing it to your liking. The navigation is dreadful. All they have to do is make little square images, square pictures with the image of what the item is. Then when you go onto it, it gives a description on the right-hand side.
That's fair.
That way you can fit many square images on the screen rather than just like, say, 5 rectangles that you have to keep scrolling down for like 10 minutes to get to the bottom. They added something that's funny because they added a way for you to like reverse the order of where you're scrolling, like from bottom to top or top to bottom. Doesn't address what I'm saying here, and it's just such an obvious thing that designers don't seem to think about, and I don't know why. But there you go.
Laziness. Pure, unadulterated laziness.
Next one, make actual artifact loadouts. Ability to add artifacts into loadouts that you can manually name and switch between characters. Why is this so difficult for them?
Please, any gacha game. Well, please, any gacha game with loadouts, please make a loadouts function. I'm actually begging on my knees. Wuthering Waves, Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, quite literally every game, please. If Wuthering Waves makes that, I will bust.
I ask the question again now verbally. Why is that so difficult? People have asked for this for many years, and all they've done is add these weird little nuances to the artifact filtering system. It's like, we're not...
Literally dead-ass Cookie Run Kingdom has this feature. Can I just say that? Cookie Run Kingdom has loadouts for characters, and not Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, or Wuthering Waves. Cookie Run Kingdom. And you can have multiple. You can have like 6 of them. This is not that hard. If Cookie Run can do it, everyone can do it.
Asking for this, all we want is artifact loadouts that you can save, name, and switch between different characters. Why is that so difficult? I don't get it.
I don't either.
I just don't get the designers. They just don't care, don't listen, I guess. Like, people in Siena aren't asking for that? I doubt it. Just a few more. Revise NPC models and faces and general expressions. Tepe's been a running joke since Inazuma because we see him all the time. The faces are too identifiable and similar. I mean, the fact that
Tepe died and then you see him everywhere. I mean, if you think about it in lore, it's like you watched Tepe die and then you just see his phantom face everywhere you go. I mean, this is maybe a bit nitpicky, but it is really bad in Genshin. Like, in terms of, like, reusing the same face and stuff, like, it is really, really bad in Genshin. I think Wuwa is way better at this. The Wuwa NPCs are so much more interesting and have way better voice acting. I mean, if you think about it from the traveler's perspective, maybe this is, like, increasing, like, the trauma of their journey, is that they, like, watch Tepe age and die. They just see his face wherever they go and are forced to, like, remember him. That's the story I'm making up about it, is it's just part of the traveler's trauma.
You guys say more on that? Again, we've had the same NPC model since the beginning.
Yeah,
Now there
bad.
is news, I will say this. They've talked about upgrading the graphics for Natlan. I don't know how far that's going to go, because the last graphical upgrade they talked about and showed us was, oh, the edges on characters here are going to be slightly curvier. Oh, wow, amazing. What an upgrade.
Wow,
So we'll see if it's just something like that or something more complex. Then the last one for now. Let me zoom the camera out even further. I play on PC, but they have this option on mobile to zoom out further, so why not PC?
Is this an issue in Genshin? I have no idea. I never had that particular problem. I'll take his word for it. I feel like I don't remember. But again, I'm not played in so long. But hey, more options is better for games anyway.
Maybe a personal issue, but it made me laugh because Wuwa has a camera similar to what Genshin does on mobile, where you can pull out quite far, actually.
Oh, are we talking about the camera, or are we talking about, like, during combat? I don't know which one we're talking about. I'm confused.
I was really happy about that. I don't like how the camera feels almost a bit claustrophobic in Genshin on PC. I don't like it. I've always wanted to pull it out, and sometimes it pushes itself in, and I keep...
Ooh, that shit sucks. And ooh, I do remember that. That shit is ass. And sometimes it does that a little bit in Wuwa, but not much.
Having to adjust it. It's like muscle memory when I play Genshin, just to keep adjusting the camera to make sure it's pulled out. There's probably an option for this. I've looked into them before. In any case, the camera should be able to come out further, and it doesn't. I've done it to the max, and it still feels quite claustrophobic.
I think that's a fair thing. Having more options on how to play a game is better no matter what, you know? So, like, I think this is fine. I don't remember having, like, a huge problem with this, but again, I've not played it, like, a couple years, so my opinion, it might be a little bit invalid at this point. I have not played in, like, 2 or 3 years.
And what I said at the end rounded it off with, you know, Wuwa has its share of issues, by the way. We need better tube farming avenues, and that goes back to, like, echo farming.
100%.
We currently don't have a great way to get tubes for leveling the echoes that we farm, which is ridiculous. Really needs to be changed, and it's aggravating when you have all these echoes. You're getting good ones, but it's like, oh, I don't have the resources. What they need to do is we need to be able to level echoes with other echoes that aren't leveled. It shouldn't be that you have.
No, you can't do that in Wuthering Waves, because you can infinite farm echoes, and that would be fucking mega super duper broken. I think that it would be good to make a system where you can, like, dissolve echoes into some kind of XP material, but it would have to be a pretty high ratio. But I don't think that this is a good option, because you can infinite farm echoes, which kind of breaks echo leveling overall. There would have to be a hard limit on that for sure, but they do need to change it, and I'm not saying that they don't need to change it. I just think that is not an option. You can't do that.
To level echoes to use as fuel at all. What if I can't level any of them? So you need to be able to use echoes as fuels the same way you can use artifacts in Genshin as fuel.
No, I don't agree with this at all. I don't know what the options are for something like that. I don't think feeding an unleveled echo to another echo is something that would work in this game, because you can infinite farm, and then you can infinite farm. You can farm your your own world, and then you can go to a friend's world and farm their worlds, and then you can go to another friend's world and farm their world. It's way too broken. There needs to be some option where you can, like, combine your echoes into some kind of XP material, but specifically unleveled echoes into echoes like artifacts would not work, because the reason that works in Genshin and HSR is because there's a hard limit to how many artifacts or relics you can get in a day.
Even unleveled ones, that's kind of how that all goes. And we need a more consistent way to farm tubes beyond tacit fields, because it's 60 wave plate, and it's just, you don't yield many of them. It's not the main purpose of a tacit field anyway. The main purpose is to get different types of echoes and hopefully hit the jackpot with it.
The main purpose of tacit fields is to get tuners, not echoes, and also not echo XP. I do agree with the sentiment that the ecosystem needs to be changed for sure.
Echo farming, it existed, from what I understand, in the simulation training, where you can get different materials like shell credits and stuff. So they need to re-add that. I don't know why they would have taken that out. That's one of my big criticisms about WoA. Of course, it has its share of bugs as well that I've experienced less of than other people, but they are working on it actively and compensating people very well, might I add. I guess it depends on who you are as well, what you've experienced. I mean, I wouldn't deny that there's bugs. I've experienced them, like I said, just not to the extent other people seem to have done. And they are fixing this very quickly. There's still no excuse. They should have delayed the game. But the core of the game, the fundamentals of what they've built, is just way better than Genshin. I'm sorry. So
I agree completely. And I think that's the thing that for me has sometimes gotten lost in why I defend Wuthering Waves quite a bit. The reason I defend Wuthering Waves is that ultimately the bones of the game and the foundations of the game are very, very good. Building upon those bones is not going to be that hard, in my opinion, if they just like do what they need to do and listen to the community. If they don't do that over time, then we're going to start getting a bit critical. But the game is new and the bones are good. And I want to know what happens when we start, you know, working those bones and getting stronger. It'll be, I think it has so much potential. It is only, we're still in 1.0.
That's a summation of my reasons. I just figured I'd make a companion video because I just uninstalled the game not long after making this comment because I'm like, I've got my resin building up today and I'm like, I don't want to play it. I just don't want to log on. I can't be bothered. I don't want to log on. It's just a chore. The whole commission system, by the way, I didn't even mention here and it just came to mind, is a chore.
Yeah.
They made strides.
Oh, daily commissions in Genshin were so shit. I mean, granted, we still do have like daily quest stuff in Wuthering Waves, but it's way less intrusive. It is kind of just things that you would do. There's also a daily quest, but I think it's fine. Oh God, I hated them so bad. They were so ass.
They've tried to make this simpler by saying, oh, we'll go do the events instead. The events suck. I'm sorry. They've got this event now, and it's just like all the events we've had before. The game's played out. It's tired. And they don't care to actually revitalize it, rejuvenate it, change it. It's the same formula. It's always going to be the same formula.
Yeah,
the
that's fair.
only tie I would have to the game at any point now in the future would be the story, and I can just watch that. So I'll probably just do that instead and not have to deal with the bullshit in the game.
That's very fair. I mean, plenty of people still play the story. Just watch somebody else do it if you don't want to continue playing the game and don't want to spend your time and your money on it. Just watch somebody else do the story if you liked it.
Lack of willingness to change or evolve or anything. And yeah, that's all I've got to say. I'm done with the game. And frankly, at this point, good riddance. And again,
slay.
That's Hoyo's fault. It's Hoyo's fault. The game could have been so much better. They don't care. The community doesn't care. They'll defend it to death for some reason and not actually criticize it accordingly.
Sunken cost fallacy.
So let them have it, you know, let them get compensated terribly for any issues that actually come about. There's a whole document full of bugs, showcasing bugs that the game's had for many years, dozens of them, that they haven't fixed, they won't fix. And if they do fix, you'll be lucky to get a single pull. Have fun with that, thumbs up. That's all I've got to say. Peace. Apologies, guys. I just want to add a couple of things just while I'm making the video that kind of slipped my mind that I really should while I'm making this video. So I didn't list Endgame in my comment here as a criticism because they are finally adding that after almost 4 years. I don't care. It's too little too late in my opinion.
Slay! Go on! Too little too late! I love that. I don't care. I don't care. Go off. Stand on business. I don't care. It is too little too late. After almost 4 fucking years, it is too little too late. Don't act like that's a big deal when it took 4 fucking years. Go off.
Game hasn't really evolved gameplay-wise anyway, so whatever they add, I don't think is going to be that interesting. To be frank. We're going to be doing the same thing, same mechanics, same kind of worn-out style of game at this point. Worn-out mechanics, you know, that I've discussed, etc., etc. So the other thing is outfits as well. Now, people clamor and ask for outfits. One thing that really rubs me the wrong way, well, first of all, it would be a hell of a payday for them constantly by putting out these skins. And they do some here and there, but very sparsely, and it's just surprising. However, all their marketing partnerships and deals and the illustrations they do with characters in different outfits, they're so ready to do that all the time just to make themselves more money. But God forbid they do something you guys ask for or we ask for, like that Zhongli outfit that everyone knows about, that everyone's been asking for years. They don't care. Just another example of their disrespect towards their player base and lack of care to do anything for them except milk them.
Yeah.
It just makes me laugh. You see all these characters in illustrations with their cute outfits or really cool looking outfits for marketing purposes, so they will benefit. But you won't see those in game for your benefit, so you can enjoy them in game while you're actually playing the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to say, please, Wuthering Waves, please, 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 Wuthering Waves, please, please, Wuthering Waves, please, please start making skins as soon as possible. I will not wail out crazy style on getting like copies of characters, copies of weapons, really, none of that stuff. I will not go crazy wailing for that. What a bitch will wail for is cosmetics, and that will be entirely against my will. Please make skins for Wuthering Waves. Please make Bunny Suit Rover as an example, just off the top of my head. I know a lot of people ask for that. It's not something that I specifically want. I definitely wouldn't lose my shit for Bunny Rover. Definitely not. No, that's what chat is saying. I don't know why they even came up with that like silly little example. Like it's just like so weird and specific. I've never said anything like that before. Bunny Skin Rover, please.
Something to think about. But there you go. Just some other things I want to put out there. Take care, guys. And yeah, discuss it with some of you below, I'm sure.
Aww. I feel sad for him a little bit because it's just like, he just sounds so tired. I thought this was a good video. I enjoyed watching it. Good for you. You're free, dude. You are free. Don't feel sad about what you've lost. Feel happy for what you're going to gain. Okay, gonna give this a like and subscribe because I think a lot of us feel the same way. We might have hit that conclusion faster than you did. Having somebody say this so honestly was really refreshing. I want to commend this person on being honest about his feelings and talking about why he's quitting the game, because we don't always hear this. I think a lot of people have skipped that step where they're just kind of haters now, and seeing his sadness and seeing his frustration reminded me of why I was so sad and frustrated when I quit Genshin Impact. I don't think there are people who hate Genshin the way that some people hate Genshin and are critical of the game that didn't love that game. I think all of us used to love that game. And the problem was that like it had so much that it could have done and it just didn't. And that's why it's so hard. So thank you for sharing this moment with us. Congratulations. You can finally move on. Let us know what you think down in the comment section below on YouTube. If you'd ever like to see these made live or hang out or grow your PP size, you can come hang out with us at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time daily on twitch.tv/HEX_juice. Please take care, drink water, take your medicine, eat your Wheaties, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!